Byckerment by Lewis Carroll. Don't we consult the victims, though? I said. We should by rights give 'em a chance because, the tastes of people differ so, especially in spirits. The phantom shook his head and smiled. Consult them, not a bit. 'Twould be a job to drive one wild, to satisfy one single child. There'd be no end to it. Of course, you can't leave children free, said I, to pick and choose. But in the case of men like me, I think my host might fairly be allowed to state his views. He said, it really wouldn't pay. Folk are so full of fancies. We visit for a single day, and whether when we go or stay depends on circumstances. And though we don't consult, mine host, before the thing's arranged, still, if a tenant quits his post, or is not a well-mannered ghost, then you can have him changed. But if the host's a man like you, I mean a man of sense, if the house is not too new, why, what has that, said I, to do with ghost's convenience? A new house does not suit, it's such a job to trim it, but after 20 years or so, the wainscoting begin to go, so 20 is the limit. To trim was not a phrase I could remember having heard. Perhaps, I said, you'll be so good as tell me what is understood exactly by that word. It means the loosening all the doors, the ghost replied, and laughed. It means the drilling holes by scores, and all the skirting boards and floors to make a forward draught. You'll sometimes find that one or two are all you really need, to let the wind come whistling through, but here there'll be a lot to do. I faintly gasped. Indeed. If I'd been rather later, I'll try be bound, I added, trying most unsuccessfully to smile, and have been busy all this while, trimming and beautifying. Why, no, said he. Perhaps I should have stayed another minute, but still no ghost that's any good without an introduction would have ventured to begin it. The proper thing, as you were late, was certainly to go, but with the roads in such a state, I got the nightmare's leave to wait for half an hour or so. Who's the nightmare? I cried, instead of answering my question. Well, if you do not know that, he said, either you never go to bed, or you've a grand digestion. He goes about and sits on folk that eat too much at night. His duties are to pinch and poke and squeeze them till they nearly choke. I said, it serves him right. And folk that stuff on things like these? He muttered, eggs and bacon, lobster and duck and toasted cheese. If they don't get an awful squeeze, they're very much mistaken. He's immensely fat, and so well suits the occupation. In point of fact, if you must know, we used to call him, years ago, the mayor and corporation. The day he was elected mayor, I know that every spirit meant to vote for him, but did not dare. He was so frantic with despair and furious with excitement. When it was over, for a whim, he ran to tell the king, and, being to be worse of slim, a 2-mile trot was not for him, a very easy thing. So, to reward him for his none, as it was baking hot and he was over 20 stone, the king proceeded, half in fun, to knight him on the spot. 'Twas a great liberty to take. I fired up like a rocket. He did it just for punning's sake. The man, says Johnson, that would make a pun would pick a pocket. A man, he said, is not a king. I argued for a while and did my best to prove a thing. The phantom merely listened with a contemptuous smile. At last, when breath and patience spent, I had recourse to smoking. Your aim, he said, is excellent, but when you call it argument, of course you're only joking. Stung by his cold and snaky eye, I roused myself at length to say, at least to defy, the very spectic to deny that union is strength. That true enough, said he, yet stay, I listened in all meekness. Union is strength, I'm bound to say. In fact, the thing's as clear as day, but onions are a weakness.